What brings you to the AI Profit Boardroom and to the coaching calls?
What brings me?
Yeah, why are you here? What do you want to get out of it?
I'm not 100% sure exactly what the end goal is, but the current goal is I'm a software engineer by trade already, and
yes, I remember you. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, and I've been kind of getting into AI stuff, but I wanted to see how I can make that profitable and do things with AI and AI automations, possibly to either start a business, do consultancy. I don't know yet exactly, but that's the kind of goal.
Yeah, no, and I think I told you this on Friday, and this goes for a lot of people. Vibe coding is great, but there is sort of this gap in knowledge a lot of people have when they just start vibe coding, but you shouldn't. You have that knowledge, and so you can really utilize it as being just a coding helper. Then I think you are here for my presentation on vibe coding. Just did a project where I vibe coded the whole thing out. It was a short one. I was like, man, the stuff I had in that presentation, I was right. Like after it coded up all the files for me, then I went through them all, and it's like, oh yeah, like you are reusing, or like you have duplicate functionality in here, or you have imports that aren't doing anything. And so I do think that it really, you can let the AI vibe code for you. You have to challenge it on everything, right? Otherwise, it is going to, it's not like everything worked, but like, it does, especially if you're showing it to a client. It's like, well, why are you importing this right now? It's like, oh, I don't know, like Claude told me to, and then I never checked it, right? It just doesn't look good. But cool. Yeah, and I think that I always bring this up, the 95% statistic. MIT is showing that 95% of AI projects don't provide an ROI for the people that are investing in it. I think that really the solution there is you can automate anything, not anything, but most things at this point. The key is figuring out what you should automate and like what matters to companies. Like, and I keep on bringing this up, I think that anything that's in the sales or marketing pipeline is probably really important. They might be interested in, oh, here, can you automate scheduling for us? And it's like, well, like how much time are you spending on scheduling? Like, I know it sounds cool to like have AI do something, but just because it sounds cool to have AI do something doesn't mean that should be, your first topic that you work on, right? Cool. Well, hopefully we can give you some insights, and not just me, but potentially also the community. That's where I get a lot of my information. Michael, okay, hi. Michael, it is your first time. You joined the AI Academy last week. It's in web development and organic SEO. Okay, cool. So AI looks pretty attractive, so I am here. All right, awesome. Yeah, I think that, a couple things. I find that like asking, say, Claude or GPT to code you a website from scratch. The last time I asked it to try, I didn't get the best results. But if you already have a website or you already have a web page and it's formatted well, that's where I think it's best. They have increased the context windows on them all, so maybe it's not as necessary. Usually what I would do is only have it work on sections at a time instead of an entire web page. But having AI do web page help you in development is really useful. And then SEO, if you're doing organic SEO, being able to get backlinks to a website, you could possibly figure out how to have AI help you with that, or like at least have AI assist in that. But it can definitely generate like blog articles, more web pages. It can help with making sure that your content has good SEO in it and things like that. So it can be really useful for things like that. Yeah, no, yeah, same thing. Like, I think that it's just, anytime I've asked it to kind of do a website from scratch, the website looks really basic, but if you already have a good design, that's where it's best. And then Steve, I figured, Steve, it was your first time. You got your camera on and everything. So this is your first time, mostly a writer, building a Substack business. Okay. I'm trying to build a coaching business eventually. But for now, I'm trying to figure out how to make extra money with AI. Even if I can just start by making $50 a month, it will pay for itself. Do you have any thoughts or ideas on how you can have AI help you make $50 a month? And no idea how. Well, I mean, it could definitely help you with building a Substack, and it could also help you with building a coaching business eventually, theoretically. you can now, I mean, if you look at Julian's YouTube videos, right, he's generating those with AI, right? And so if you wanted to create, a YouTube channel, the barrier to entry for that, or I don't even know, like, the barrier to entry, like the sustainability of posting regularly, which is the barrier to entry to creating a value-based YouTube channel, that is much lower now. Where before, potentially you'd have to spend, say, 10 to 20 hours on each video to write, shoot, edit, publish, all those things. Now you can potentially get that closer to an hour or two, using things like HeyGen, using AI video generators to generate B-roll for you or to generate images for you. Last week, I think it was last week, somebody showed how you can connect your GPT account to Canva and have Canva generate B-roll for you for your videos. I was also thinking about creating an educational YouTube. Yes, yes, cool, exactly. And that's what I'm talking about, is that we have some automations you can check out about that. I would suggest, though, and this is my broken record suggestion to everybody, start using the tools first, right? So like you can have AI, say GPT is probably pretty good for this, create an outline for you, right? Or like even work with you on the concept of your channel, right? Let's say, here, create an outline for me for this video. And the video is going to be 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, half an hour long. And then from there, okay, I like this outline. This makes sense. Now generate the script for me. If it's a half-hour long video, you might want to take it in chunks. If it's a 5-minute long video, you might be able to handle that fairly well. But like if you're doing a half-hour long video, I would have it do it in, like, say, 5-minute chunks or whatever. If you are planning on automating this eventually, you could think about doing a N8N, not even like a full workflow, but just like setting up that single node to have an AI agent that writes the script content for you, because the script content that you get out of the prompt that you put into an OpenAI API N8N node is going to be different than the script content you get out of the GPT OpenAI interface, just because the GPT interface is an agentic system that like has all these different capabilities to it, whereas your node-based workflow isn't going to have that. But either way, have it generate the scripts for you. Take a look at the scripts, make sure they make a decent amount of sense. Feed them into HeyGen yourself by hand. Get the videos out, throw them on a timeline, and then from there, go and generate some B-roll or some images or whatever using maybe Fall AI has an image generator or a video generator, and then put it together. Make sure it makes a decent amount of sense. Put it out there, right? And then this is not going to be the fastest, most automated way to go, but you will get to see the process. You will get to vet everything as you're going through it. And then from there, once you see that it's like, okay, like this is generating the videos I want, start taking all those different pieces and build that into an automation piece by piece. You already know what the channel is going to be about already. Cool. Comprehensive curriculum. Oh, awesome. Psychology and neuroscience, which is my favorite. The content will be this. Is there a page on this in the AI profit program? Is there an exact page on this? No, I won't say no because I don't know the AI profit boardroom totally. I mostly am in the N8N templates page, because there's a lot of content on here. There may be one. Also, possibly Julian has a video where he explains how to do a lot of this stuff. But I know that we do have an N8N template that does HeyGen. And then last week, I was working on a HeyGen template in our coaching call for an AI automation. The problem is, I think I brought this up, I think that it was limiting me because I was on the free account. And then I'm going to do similar to what you're going to do. I'm not going to steal your idea though, yet. And I'm going to probably start doing some HeyGen content. And so when I do, that might be in the next week or two, I might kind of go over that AI automation, or even just like that process, like just walk through the process I just described. it needs to be scientifically rigorous, no slop. Well, that it's interesting because I was just about to talk about, I just saw this study. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I just posted about this. Supposedly, somebody just did a study that I think it's like 45% of the time when AI assistants give information about the news, I don't know if the facts are wrong, but like the context is wrong. There's something about it where it is providing misinformation about the news when it comes to an AI assistant. But now I'm wondering, we have in America, I don't know what it's like for everybody else in the world, this issue with quote unquote fake news, right? Where everybody will tell you on whatever political side you're on that the news is fake. Or even we have not even just like the news, but influencers, right? Influencers who are posting on the newest fitness trend, or influencers who are posting on like a health trend, right? Or like a diet thing. And I was like, oh, this is like a new thing where you have these influencers and they're like telling you, oh, like this is scientifically backed. And then you go and you look at the science research on it and it's not really true. Or like the idea of fake news. But for people in America, and again, I don't know what it's like for people all over the world, this has actually been going on for a really long time. And I think like the easy way to think about it is, again, if you're in America, how many times have we seen somebody has found the cure for cancer in the news? Like this is like one of the most popular topics to bring up and be like, oh yeah, new research, they might have found the cure for cancer. Like I feel like this has been going on for at least 30 or 40 years, right? Or this causes cancer, right? This either causes cancer, this will prevent cancer, or this cures cancer. And they have been doing this forever. And so then that's been happening in our regular news. And then the news has been shifting. We have influencers who are misrepresenting things. And so now the AI is too. And so that's my little rant on slop, which is that like, slop is everywhere and not just AI. However, if you want less AI slop, I think one of your best bets is using Perplexity, right? Because Perplexity does less hallucination with the information it's getting from the internet. If you're looking for something that's doing research-based things, and then part I think of the solution of not getting slop is human in the loop. You can also put an agent in there that will potentially try to verify the information that you have in your content. Also, I would suggest breaking up the steps of what you're doing, like having it pull out like data first, like have it pull out the core concepts and then write out the content in like an outline or whatever, and then add tone and style afterwards. If you try to do all of those at once, that makes it more sloppy. Well, everything I post is backed by multiple citations. Perfect. Industry taints everything. You are right. Even some research has been tainted. That's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing, right? As you're saying, even the research is tainted, right? A lot of corporations are paying for research now, and they're getting the research that they want, right? And it sounds like you might have a science background. I have a science background. I can tell you, I love science. I love technology and mathematics. People who hold science as being, I don't know what you're saying, like it's beyond reproach, essentially, where it's like, well, no, science is better than just whatever, it's better than religion. So people say that, right? Or science is, infallible at times. And really, if you've ever done scientific research, you will find out pretty quickly that science, especially modern science, is kind of rough. There's a lot that goes into it that makes it so you can't trust one singular paper. I think if you look at concepts that are meta-reviewed, or like the concept of a meta-review, where they look at, say, 10, 20, 100 different scientific research articles to be able to pull out a meta conclusion based on those, I think that's very powerful. But if you just look at what the scientific research process is like, the AI getting things wrong 45% of the time is nothing compared to probably how often AI, or not even AI, scientific researchers are misrepresenting their data, or it gets misrepresented for them, or there's an agenda behind the research that they're doing. And so science is incredible, but humans and AI are fallible. Yes, follow the money. Yeah, well, oh, okay, tainted by AI. Yeah, I see. Even some of the research has been tainted by. No, yeah, but I mean, I think that it's tainted by the HI, the human intelligence, right? Or the MI, the money intelligence. And so what does that say for all of us? It'd be incredible if we would use our critical thinking as much as possible, but and you really need to if you want, say, the truth or some facsimile of the truth, you know, some level of critical thinking and not just accepting everything we got. Okay, Barry William Davidson, sorry, you are looking for ideas for business. Barry, if you want to hop on the mic, you can, or if you want to give me a little bit more context on business ideas that you're looking for, we can talk about it.
Yes, let me pull over here. I'm sorry, I'm like right on my scooter. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is a thing. Okay, I have a QA background. Can you hear me first of all?
Can't hear you.
Wonderful. Okay, I have a QA background. I have a QA certificate, and I also have a certificate in data science and AI, and I also have a BF in art history.
Okay.
So I guess. Yeah. So, and what I'm trying to do is trying to pivot from doing point-to-point deliveries, and I'm trying to use AI and QA in order to help businesses make decisions. I'm trying to figure out what kind of things in AI that I can leverage in order to help businesses make decisions and how to make a profit off of it. And that's what I'm trying to ascertain from your modules. And also, I'm also going through the community of my school. My school also has modules. They're from Dubai. And so between you and them, I'm trying to figure all this out. It's a lot of information. And I guess I don't know where to start.
Right. So I will tell you, like, I think, you know, and I've seen this, the idea that, you know, we should use AI to do decision. I don't think that AI is great at decision making right now. And maybe I'm wrong, and there's like a study that shows that AI is great. I think assisting in decision making can be great by like providing analytics, by providing research, hopefully research that's not too tainted or context, you know, floppy. And there are, you could set up various AI automations. It's tough though, like to have one that companies could use to help them with decision making is more, because I feel like each company, and maybe I'm not thinking about this right, like they have so much that goes into their decision making, right? With their records, their data, and then along with outside data. But you could probably create bespoke solutions for them. And really, again, I think that maybe the target is decision making help more than something that does make decisions.
Well, I thought this is the thing, and then I will end my question and I will let Mike go to someone else. And I will mute myself also. So this is the thing. I thought about maybe because I'm in the Middle East that a lot of things here need research. And they're very technology like addictive here. And so I thought because of that, maybe to offer research, but I don't know how the AI models do research that well because ChatGPT is kind of sketchy, Claude is kind of sketchy, and then we have the coding, the no vibe coding like Lovable and Base 44. Base 44 is from my country. I'm in Israel, Tel Aviv in Israel. And I go to the UAE a lot in Dubai. And so our region have our branded models, but our branded models, I don't want to diss them or down them, but I don't know if they're that trustable. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Right. So a couple of things that you hit on. So like, yes, GPT and Claude are sketchy. However, this is the same thing I just said to Stephen. Perplexity is supposed to be less sketchy. That is the concept behind it, that it is supposed to be hallucinating less and pulling, like that was the original concept. Like before Claude and OpenAI had internet access, Perplexity was doing that, right? Where they were the ones that had citations and internet access. And I think that that's their thing. So that's one thing I would suggest is possibly doing this Perplexity based. And, you know, also, again, like there's two different ways to look at this. One is that both Claude and GPT have a deep research functionality, right? And so one of my, I don't know if it's a mantras or philosophies, is that like if you can't build something that's better than what's already there, then you're building something that's worthless, right? So if you cannot build a research assistant that is better than what they have, then why would anybody use it, right? Why don't they just, why give you $50,000 or whatever it is to have you, or do whatever to use your service, when I could just go to GPT and it'll do the deep research for me. Now, if you can show that your system is not hallucinating, right? It goes through an extra set of steps so that it is verifying everything and providing citations or whatever. I don't know, like if Perplexity has the same deep research functionality, but that would be, if they do, that would probably be the benchmark there, is it, can you do something that is better than that? And if not, then, it's a tough situation. But probably something along the lines of, being able to verify the cited material, pulling that information down, being able to, again, like verify that that information is correct based on where it's coming from. And I don't totally know why does OpenAI hallucinate that information so much? Like, I think it's better now with GPT-5, but I know when I was GPT-4, I would ask it to do something and then to provide 5 citations, and you would click on the links and they would go nowhere, right? Or you would click on the links and it would go to the wrong website. And that is such a strange sort of functionality for it to have. Like, I get that a lot of times AI is making its best guess. Why it would just generate a fake web link, with an agentic system seems strange. So I don't know if they've fixed that yet. Again, I think GPT-5 is a little bit better than it used to be. But the other aspect of this is that if you could build this with, this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. If these companies are looking to do research and they don't want to be sending their information, their proprietary information, to GPT or Claude or whoever, then you could host an LLM, keep everything in-house. And, but again, like, you're still going to want something that is got multiple agents sort of handling this. And there are research agents, there are summarization agents, there are fact-checking agents. But yeah, and then even from there, what is the best way to present that information? Because I'll even say part of the problem with the deep research functionalities that I see is if it gives you back a 20 or 30 page document, and it's like, dude, this is a lot to read. People are at times wanting something that's 2 or 3 pages instead. So that's another thing to look at. But that's I would say a somewhat ambitious project. And there are, I think, again, like choosing the right models in the right agentic structure is going to be key for that. Into one core. You would think that they would build fact checking to the core of every. No, well, so they could build fact checking into the agentic system for these platforms. The LLMs don't work that way at all. Like, if you look at the structure of how an LLM works, it is essentially not based on fact checking at all. Like, all an LLM does is predict what the next word is based on the previous set of words, right? And so in that, there's like no functionality for fact checking, right? Like, it would need to have access to facts to do that. And that is just outside of the scope of a LLM and what its purpose is. But in the agentic systems, yes. And I wonder if part of it is speed and resources, right? Like, hey man, you guys just aren't paying enough for fact checking. Do you realize like what it would take to actually fact check all this information that we're giving you, and the amount of time it would take? They're probably look at the trade-offs and it's like, yeah, let's just make it, slower and, cost less. Although they could probably, as you're saying, if they did build in fact checking, maybe charge more money or something like that. And here we have the fact checking version of GPT and Claude. Okay, yeah, Perplexity has deep research and it's fast. Okay, cool. So then, yeah, you'd have to have a system that's better than Perplexity's deep research system. And how do you do exactly? All right, oh, basic auto plan, great. Anybody else who is new? I think I've gotten to all of the new people. Today is a Q&A day. Hold on, my Roomba just woke up Let me put it back to sleep. It's not annoying you guys. It's annoying me at least. Stop. Okay. So if anybody has questions, throw them. I need to disable Otter. Okay. It's annoying. Yeah. I mean, disable your Otter. I got to disable my Roomba. All these little robots we have and AI can get annoying. If anybody has a question, you can either turn on your mic or throw it in the chat. Today is a Q&A day.
I have a question.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
So this is my second meeting here.
I remember you.
And we talked about automating for this particular law firm, the Sustain attorney. I'm still just a little overwhelmed with N8N chat. When I originally was talking to it about how to do this, it mentioned make.com. Is that worth doing? First question. Second, is it worth just outsourcing this if I can find somebody decent on Upwork and pay them a chunk and then have them do it? Or how trustworthy is that? Is we have any experience doing that? I know it's better for me to probably figure it out, but you know.
So yes, I have a lot of experience with Upwork and working with people on Upwork and doing work on Upwork. I think that Upwork can be good. The issues that you will run into is either the people are going to charge enough that it's too much of a chunk of your money, or the cheaper people, like if you go with somebody who's like, say, $20 an hour, right? Somebody who's offshore, don't expect them to innovate for you, right? Like if you have everything exactly figured out, then they are good at like doing that portion of it, which is like, hey, I have a plan. Here is the technical concept. And then they are kind of like an AI interface where it's like, you do have to be prepared to challenge them in the decisions they make, especially if they're going to try to cut corners on some of this stuff. If they are highly rated, that's a good thing. And then, you know, on Upwork, you pay people for the work that they do, right? And so you could set, a lot of people aren't going to want to, either they're not going to want to do a, if they're good, here's just a fixed price for a project. Because if they do, you're probably losing money somehow, right? Because I know it's like, okay, if I'm fixing this price, I need to overcharge you because what if it takes longer than we think it does, right? And if I have a good enough rating, and so you can, you know, give them a milestone thing that is based on hours, and you know, make sure that it makes basic sense. But if your plan doesn't make sense totally, which, you know, it's hard to know if it does, right? Then they're just going to follow your plan and give you something that doesn't totally work. They're not necessarily going to be like, hey, I noticed that when you're saying to do it this way, actually we should do it this other way. You might find some amazing person who has really high rating, doesn't charge that much, and can really just problem solve and ideate out all this stuff. But that's not necessarily going to be the case. For your first projects, you may want to just go this route, just to get things off the ground. And then also potentially have them do a bunch of it, and then possibly, if you are getting into a couple of trouble spots, grab that workflow from them, see if you can use the chat to workflow functionality in N8N to smooth out some of the rockier parts, or the parts that don't work as well. But yeah, I mean, potentially also, again, like what they're good at is the part that chat to workflow is for you, possibly. And so the part that they're not good at is the part that trips everybody up and that chat to workflow won't do for you. So it's tough to figure out. What are you trying to automate for the law firm, if you don't mind saying?
Oh, not at all. No, she sent me a whole list. She sent me like a spreadsheet. I mean, I don't want to go too far into it, but just essentially intake, follow up, summarizing stuff that's coming in. I mean, my idea was she's a partner at a firm that I'm friends with the main person, and she's like, let's start with this practice area, which is estate law. And so I had a good hour-long conversation with her. She's like, I would love for you to be able to fix this, yada yada. So it's, I mean, let me see if I can find this.
So intake is like intake from like an email, and then it's supposed to summarize the email and then respond to them. Is that the idea, or is it different?
That's part of it. Yeah. Let me, gosh, hold on, dude. I'm sorry. I wasn't quite expecting. And then I asked chat about its thoughts about, you know, Upwork, and it's kind of saying what you're saying, which is, you know, somebody cheap is not going to be great, and there's a mid-level person that's going to be like 25 to 40 bucks an hour, and its opinion is it's good for this project. I mean, if I spend 2,500 on it,
Yeah.
You know, I'm fine with that because I have a number in my mind where that's still profitable. And then also secondarily, if I get this to work or if I can kind of productize it, she told me, it was, if you can solve this, I have people that I will send your way, other lawyers that would love to have something like this. So I've told her in this firm that, look, I'm gonna do this close to cost, and then, you know, after that, just to get it dialed in, with the understanding this is going to take me maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever, to figure all this out. And then if it does work, then off to the races, and it's not much off their. So I mean, if I spend 2,500, $3,000 on this and charge them $5,000, I'm still making money, especially on maybe monthly recurring revenue. But then I've got a model I can take to other agencies or other law firms. She just sent me a task like consultation proposal, info gathering for an EL, which is an engagement letter, create client and matter in Clio, which is their database. That's the legal database. Send to her assistant for info, set up OneDrive for client file, draft and send to somebody else for review, engagement letters, waivers. I mean, she sends me this whole flow of what she has to do already. So I'm like, well, I bet we can automate a lot of this and take it off of her plate, you know, so.
Have you tried asking, say, Claude instead, here's this flow, how would you design something in N8N, and then just get the design from it, see if it makes basic sense, ask it to generate the prompt for that. We'll break it up into pieces, because it sounds like multiple things are happening here, right? Where it has to generate the engagement letter, then it has to save things to Drive, then it's doing whatever. But then breaking up the flow into different pieces, asking it to do that into manageable pieces, and then having it trying prompt workflow to see if you could do it. Have you tried any of that stuff?
I've had conversations with Perplexity about this, and I've had conversations with Chat, but I've not talked to Claude about it. So I'm happy to do that. And my main question about this is, like, I know that Julian has an offer where it's like, we can set it up for you. It's at least $2,000. Know that going in before this consultation call. I'm like, well, he's probably just hiring people, or he has a team that does this, so I could probably do that. I don't know. That's my thinking.
Well, the only, again, like, there is that middle part where somebody should be supervising these people who can talk with them, give it back and forth. When they say, oh no, it's not supposed to be this way, it's like, yes, it is. Like, this is the way it's supposed to go. So that's the only thing I would worry about, where it's like, yes, he is not doing it himself. He is using somebody, but like, he's already vetted that person. He knows that they're going to do something, and then he can, you know, guide them along the way. I would say,
which I'm happy to do. I'm happy just to give Julian the $2,000 if he's already got the people, so I don't have to vet people and dick with all that. I'm just like, take the 2,500, you set it up, and then I'll charge double that, and I'm still making money, and then it turns into.
I would also see, though, like, I mean, the only thing I would say is that, like, it is potentially, just from what you've described so far, it is possibly a fairly complex workflow, which may be more than $2,000. I have never gone down that. He might just be like, no, that's a $2,000 project, and you're done. I would start at least trying everything, right? Like, hey, like, see what people say on Upwork, right? See what you're getting back. Engage with Julian, see what he says. And then, as I said, I would try to start moving along with Claude on some of these things, even if it is, you know, starting to engage it, like setting up a project with Claude, and then as you're getting, you know, this work back potentially from the developer, right? You can take their N8N workflow, which is the JSON file, and then upload it to it and be like, hey, like, do you see any problems with this? And like, you could be using it to help you be the person who's overseeing possibly somebody on Upwork. Yeah, like, the other thing I would say is hopefully she's asking you to do this because she's like, we're spending a lot of time on this.
Exactly right. Correct.
Okay, perfect. Because again, like, sometimes clients are like, oh, you know what? I thought this would be a cool idea. And it's like, yeah, sure, that's a cool idea, but like, that's not going to provide you enough ROI. So then you're not going to be happy with this. And then like you're saying, like, other lawyers aren't going to really be interested either, because it's going to cost too much for them to get an ROI off of it.
Right.
But spending a lot of time on it, then it makes more sense.
I had a bigger idea for like private LLMs, but that's a huge pain in the butt. I'm not going to mess with that right now. But when I had the conversation with the principal person who passed me off to her partner in this other area of practice, I mean, I gave her a number that was not small, and she's like, okay, well, I see the potential and I think I want to, but maybe not in 2025. I mean, it was a sizable chunk of money. So if I come back and say 5, 6, 7 grand, that's going to be less than they were expecting. I mean, and again, the idea is to dial it in and then take it other places and then charge more for it once I get it dialed in. But do you have any opinion on Make? Like, why did chat go to Make before N8N?
So Make is easier and possibly maybe a solution for you. So like Make and I think Zapier are just like even simpler than N8N. But I haven't done stuff in Make in a while. You know, and like since this is really only supposed to be for them in-house each time, then it may be fine. Like the good thing about N8N is that you can scale that and like, you know, containerize it and launch it into the cloud. I don't know if you can do that with a Make project, but possibly if they're not asking it for it to be N8N or Make, you may want to try that. And then Make has also been around longer, and so it is possible that it's easier for the LLMs to help you do that, where having Claude or GPT actually help you, like it'll try to generate a workflow for you. The workflows that they generate are not good. You know, it's just for whatever reason, as I was saying, like you can have it strategize out with you or come up with the prompt to have prompt to workflow work for you. But anytime I've asked them to generate an actual workflow for me, it is a slog to actually get to something that works. But again, that's partially because N8N is new and it's never been really trained properly on N8N workflows, whereas Make's been around long enough that it might be better at helping you put that together, and is just like a little bit simpler to use. But I think that part of it is, you know, especially if this is supposed to be robust and you have a client that's going to be using it, you do maybe want to get some level of professional help, just because there's things like error handling or, you know, retry logic that is not as obvious for you to possibly do the first time around, that they should be more you know, interested in doing, or like more experienced in doing.
Well, yeah. Again, the idea is that this is like my first go, and they're willing to do it with me. I was going to say something else, and I forgot. Oh, the other thing too is, I mean, it's monthly recurring is the idea. It's going to be a good size setup, and then monthly, and then I know Julian and his thing has, you know, the setup, and if you need monthly, that's cool too. And I figured monthly would be like kind of course correcting or making updates.
Yeah, because I mean, usually what happens is they don't really know exactly what they want. There is that initial sort of, here, this is something that works, but then once you start piloting it out, they realize that they need to make changes to how these engagement letters are done or something like that. That's probably where it is, where it's like the engagement letters have some issues, and that's something to even, you know, talk to the client about, is that there should still be the human in the loop in the system somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, and then that person, like the idea that, hey, we can reduce the time that you're taking on this task by 80%, 90%. That's the goal. Initially, it should not be the goal is like we're going to reduce everything by 100%, just because you should have somebody checking these things, you know, before they get sent off, especially with something that's legal, right? Where they're all
No, they want like an 80% reduction. I mean, they're looking to, so sorry, I don't mean to take up the time. A lot of these estate attorneys have, if they're not super complex estates, you know, where you have, you know, 14 ex-wives and 38 children and all that crazy stuff. If it's a simple quote unquote will, then it has a flat fee. They have a flat fee of like whatever, $2,500 or $1,500. And so if I can shave 2 hours off that, you know, it makes that much more profitable for them. That's kind of what they're going for. You know, if I can shave 2 hours off every prep thing, then that's, I just said it. You get it. It makes it more profitable, or they can do more. They can do it quicker, and they're not relying on their clerk or para to do it too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would just start going down all the avenues, and because like again, like you can reach out to Julian and see what he says. Right?
Yeah.
He's like, well, like this is a larger project. It would cost this amount. Then you at least do have some level, I think, more of assurance that you're going to get something that works than if you go with somebody on Upwork. Reach out to people on Upwork, see if, you know, and I would say, like, for anybody you find on Upwork, ask to see examples of what they've done before.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ask, like, hey, show me something you've done before, and just you record a demo of it, like anything. Like, let me see something that makes sense. And then again, like, they need to have a pretty good rating. And then also you do have, if you're, at least for the first portion of the Upwork project, you engage them on Upwork and just stay with the payment system on there, then they have to deliver something for you to pay them, right? And so if they totally blow things off, which does suck for you because it's going to set you back a little bit, just in time. then you at least haven't paid them anything. But for the most part, like people on Upwork are dependent, just like anybody on a gig economy where there's a star rating, most likely they're not going to just completely blow you off if you're still, because like if you just give them 0, it's like, hey, I contracted this guy, he just didn't do any work for me, 0 stars. That's going to be terrible for their reputation on there. So, and again, like see what your options are and then make a decision from there. And then again, like I would see, like, okay, if again, for this type of project, I would be engaging Claude with this type of thing. Like again, Perplexity, I do Perplexity for research stuff, Claude for anything that's technical, GPT for anything that's like creative. Even though GPT-5 is supposed to be better, I still feel like Claude is
People
better.
hate it. I have friends that are still pissed off at 5, but whatever.
And then they just did Claude or Sonnet 4.5. I'll tell you, like for a lot of these types of things, it is pretty good, and just at least helping you figure this stuff out. But yeah, that's I guess essentially my
Thanks. Yeah, that chat gave me a job post for what do you call it? Like looking for an NAN automation specialist with legal workflows like Clio, OneDrive, Outlook. The goal is to automate intake, document generation, e-sign, billing prep. Must have API integration experience and strong understanding of secure data handling. No external AI APIs. Bonus if familiar with private LLMs or LangChain. I know what LangChain is. Deliverables will include JSON workflows, documentation, and handoff training video.
Just for your understanding, LangChain is a Python library that's used to create agentic systems and RAG systems, so that basically an LLM you give it a prompt, it gives you a response, but you need something that's basically more complex. And LangChain is one of the ways to make this more complex.
Yeah, and it's telling me that because my original idea that I've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 weeks was like private LLMs, and it's like that's going to be a nightmare to set up. And so I think that's why it's asking me about the
really quick. So they don't mind that, like, because like if you don't do a private LLM, then the information that you're taking in is getting sent to an LLM, and I don't know if that's based on what you're talking about. Like, that doesn't totally sound okay. That like they're just sending their client information to an LLM.
That's the issue. What's weird is there's a guy that had a thing online that was I don't know this because I'm not, but he was like, I just sold a private LLM for 35 grand. You can find this guy on YouTube. It was like it had a lot of buzz on Reddit and stuff. But he shows you this thing where an email comes in, it sends it to OneDrive, it sends it to Sheets, yada yada. But then it's asking questions, and you can see that it's chat. It has like a little chat symbol in it. It's like, well, how's that private, or is that just a node that's like not exposed to the cloud, or what is it?
Yeah. So okay, so like an LLM is just. I was bringing this up with Steve before, I think. So an LLM is a large language model. It is a model that basically does this calculation, and it figures out based on the previous set of words what is the next word that you should do, and then the next word after that, and the next word after that. And GPT, Claude, Perplexity, all of these interfaces have the LLM is like the engine, right?
Yeah, of course.
But they have a whole other system around it. Now they have basically open source LLMs that are out there that you can grab, and it's an engine just like those engines. And it's very
the original suggestion was to use
build
Llama.
everything around it.
Yeah, the original idea was to use Llama or whatever, the open one, and put it either on an on-premise or cloud thing, so there's no exposure. But then that seems like a huge project, and I don't know if it's there.
It is a bigger deal, but if this is legal, client information, you may need to do that, right? Like, it may not be feasible for them to just send it to OpenAI API because, like, it's no longer, they cannot provide an audit trail of their data anymore. They know.
I have a couple clients. Lawyers, and I mean, not to burst your bubble, Tim, but that's the only thing that I see. All the other stuff you can make up, but the security part is a bitch.
Yeah.
I personally, so my systems are AES 256 to prevent precise for data encryption. And then working with lawyers, they're going to require you to have multi-factor authentication. They're also going to require role-based access controls, because what if their paralegal needs to get in? Then you need regular security testings. And if they're dealing with anything with insurance, then you got to be HIPAA compliant.
Yep.
So, and to be fair, that is the expensive part of the whole thing. Like the system itself, setting it up, everything you want to do. Yeah, it takes time. Yeah, it takes knowledge. That's not that expensive. The expensive part is the micromanagement of risk tolerance. And that is very expensive. And like I offer it, but we start at 10 grand.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing I was looking at for private LLMs was 25 to 35 to set it up, just because it's going to be such a project. But that was more about, well, 10 grand makes sense for maybe private LLM, but the other expense was like feeding it a bunch of like that firm's, all their docs, like all their case studies and law and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like your data bank, wherever it is that you're having that needs to be massively secure, consistently, rigorously updated and monitor in order for them to be. And it's not even like you said, the lawyer might not necessarily know all this stuff, but it is the clients, the law firm, the whomever it might be that is affected it. Will definitely ask for this stuff at some point. If they don't have it, it becomes it becomes a problem. I had a bit of an issue with it before, so I would definitely know that. Yeah, I have some issues with it. So
would you send me a message in school? Is that, I mean, I don't know your name. It just says Axe AI. So
yeah, I'm Alex. Sure, man.
If you don't mind talking a little more, I mean, I'm curious.
No, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Let me look up what my name in school is, or what or actually, if you could give me your name in school, I can just send you a text.
It's Timothy Black, but thank you.
The other thing that you can look into is that the cloud services, GCP, Azure, and AWS, they offer HIPAA compliant LLMs. You have to sign a BAA with them, a business agreement. And they will, this is what they do for their enterprise clients so that they can do this. There is now you're talking about a whole nother system, right, where you're getting into cloud computing. But this is kind of following up with what Axe is saying, is that like, for a lot of this stuff, the easy part is supposed to be just getting the simple automation to work. It is, once it's, hey, we need this to be HIPAA compliant, then like, hosting an LLM or the security protocols around it, or doing a cloud version of this using cloud services to do it, that's when things get a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, and that's definitely in her workflow. I mean, it says draft HIPAA release, draft directive to physicians, draft last will and testament. I mean, this is part of her workflow. So that was the thing. So, okay. Well, that's just a harder sell. It's just harder to walk in there and go, hey, give me 25 grand than it is to set up. Give me 5 grand.
I mean, you can do maybe proof of concept or something, but then and like figure this out. But like, yeah, they're going to need some level of compliance for this, and that is something to consider somehow, right? Is that they can't just expose their data. At some point, that is going to become an issue.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I sent you a text. Hopefully you got it.
On school?
Yeah.
And then his username is in the chat also.
Oh yeah, got it.
Chris Cortez, did you have a question? I saw you like raise your hand a bit, but I don't know if you were just, hey, how's it going?
Doing well. I was trying to find out, the other day they were talking about with GenSpark and about how making websites, and I thought I was just slow because I could never get to export all the files that I needed so I could host it on my own domain. And then other people started saying, no, that's the way it is. That was with Volt and so on. And there was, I guess, Vic was going to make a tutorial about it, and I didn't know. I haven't seen anything yet, so I didn't know if anybody has figured that out, or if it's maybe something I'm just stumped on, that there is a way to just take the files and put them someplace else, drag and drop the file structure and have it loaded on my own domain.
I have not used GenSpark in that way. The only way I've done GenSpark now is to like make documents and do presentations. I know that it does a whole bunch of other things. And I guess here, let me just check. So I haven't used it for its website. Let's see, slides. Yeah, developer.
Or even Bolt. I guess Bolt's the same way. It's in their own little box that you have to use it there or whatever, buy their hosting or something.
I mean, so it won't provide you with you want HTML files essentially. As far as yeah, you're gonna want HTML files. It's not giving you HTML files you can use.
None that I saw. Every time I tried to download it, there was an error, or when I did get a zip file, I extracted and it wouldn't load anything. So I was like, all right, maybe I'm on the edge of
So I built a couple of websites with GenSpark, man. So you don't want to download the code because it's going to give it to you in a particular format. You might just want to copy it. That also depends on where you're going. right? Like, I don't know where you're copying the file to, depending on what the website is. If you have JavaScript on it, CSS on it, plus the HTML, depending on the builder that you're using, it might require that you input the JavaScript in a different place versus the HTML versus the CSS in order to complete the page. So that's something that, so you might want to investigate where you're hanging that website from. Now, GenSpark does allow you to just go live with it, but it's a GenSpark website. So if you want your own domain, like I said, don't download, just copy and paste, but make sure you also want to talk to the code and let them know, like, look, I need it to be all HTML, or you can even tell it, hey, I'm going to hang it on, I don't know, Wix. Go read the Wix manual and build it so that it fits on the Wix website, right? So you can ask the GenSpark to actually get knowledgeable about where it is that you're going to post it or where you're going to hang it, and then build the website around that, those restrictions. So you're going to be aware of, you're going to deal with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, depending on where you're going. They might go in different places. If you can put it all in one, that's great. But if not, you will get an error if it has other code in it.
Yeah. All right. So I was trying to use it on Hostinger, but I'll turn around and, or even put up my own Apache server locally on one of my servers just to try and test it. All right, but perfect. That's great. I hadn't even thought of just saying, hey, format it for this. I did it with Bolt too, but I'll turn around. I'll take a look more at it with it tonight and figure out what I'm doing. I've had those membership premiums for months, but I think I've used maybe 100 credits max.
Yeah, I mean, look, I could possibly, if you, and I'm just going to show you what's possible, right? If you can see the, hold on. Do you mind if I share the screen, Jeff, so y'all can see it?
If you can share, go for it. I don't know how to give you access. I think any of us can share, right?
I think so.
There you
Look, this entire screen, right? Like even this code here was made with GenSpark, right? So it is possible, like I said, but you might want to just got to know like where the code goes and how to do things. But anything you want to do it, you can just ask the code to work with it. This one was, for example, where I'm hanging it is with Wix, for example. That's what I brought that up. And in Wix, you got to put the code in 3 different places. But I've learned that asking Wix, or rather asking GenSpark, hey, this is where I'm going to hang it. How do I do it? And it's like, okay, great. You got to break it up this way. This is what we're going to do. So you kind of use the AI as your builder helper. So
right.
Yeah.
Use it as an assistant. I have to go, everybody. Great talk today. Tomorrow we'll do a Dr. Jeff special, same time tomorrow. Have fun with AI and automation. Later, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have an amazing day. Bye.